This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so we got them shots coming up. It's beginning of the end. We're did they tell you between which of the two? I guess you'll find out on the day. I've been asking everyone. I saw this meme once where it's like when we're all back together, the first question will be like Pfizer or Moderna.
Isn't that what's already being asked right now?
What do you mean? Oh yeah, but I mean when everyone's back and then we're all gonna like congregate again. It's like,
well, I think I guess if you're talking to them in a group chat, it's like, oh, I'm going to get the shot today. Okay, it's like after you get it, it's just like, what'd you get? Like,
true. Yeah,
it's happening within your own circles, right?
It's funny though because it's like nobody ever mentions like AstraZeneca. You're always expecting. Remember, even when I put in that chat, like, oh yeah, this person got the shot. They're like, how'd they get the shot? It's like, oh, they got AstraZeneca. They're like, oh, we don't even consider that one as like a shot. And J&J not here yet, or is here?
It's here in Canada, but still they're like not released.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to check. Because whenever they ship them in, it's like it doesn't just go directly to the places to get the shots. They still have to verify, like, okay, where it was made, manufactured. Like they have to go.
Really? Eh?
Yeah. They still have to test out.
No way.
Yeah. It's not like they just give it out.
Oh, okay.
Like that's why it still takes a little bit of time, even if we have it in the borders. It's just not yet released to everybody else yet.
Like make sure the shipments get shipment.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Do you know? I guess we don't know like on the spot. Like, do you get to pick? Because like I've
no.
No, you don't get to pick, right? No. Like whenever you're there, it's just like whichever one, and then you're like, which one do you give me? You kind of just ask that.
They would probably tell you, like, which one you're getting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're like, okay, we have like Moderna here for you.
I don't know.
Pfizer.
I have no idea. I'm going to be experiencing it on Tuesday, so
okay,
we'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because like the people that have gotten it, it's like I don't know. I assume that they were all like they would all be the same one, but like some people are like, oh, I got Pfizer. I know.
I guess it depends on which shipments they send to those areas, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be most likely either, like predominantly, it's going to be AstraZeneca. Oh, sorry, not AstraZeneca. Pfizer or Moderna.
Right. I saw this like post. I can't remember which news. I think it was like CBC that was like talking about like get to know the vaccines, and then I was swiping through them, and like AstraZeneca and like the Moderna Pfizer, there was like no side. There's like pros, negatives, right? They had like a pro negative, and there was like no negative for the Pfizer and Moderna one, but then like for the AstraZeneca and the J&J, it's like potential blood clot, you know. And I'm like, but it's interesting because it's just the way that they're manufactured, right? You're saying
they're two different ways
mRNA, something like that.
Yeah, so like, Pfizer and Moderna are like new technologies, right? So mRNA. So we don't really know, I guess, long-term stuff about it, maybe.
But I don't know how I feel about that thing when people say that, you know, because it's like.
True, I don't think so. I don't think it's really like they've done enough of research to see that. I don't think there's really an issue. And then the way that AstraZeneca is made is made in the more traditional vaccine sense.
Yeah. So that's why there's like the potential for the blood clot.
Yeah.
Do you see that stat that I put out there where like the image where they're like
but again, even with that, it's like there is a difference between types of blood clots.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
like, are you talking about the picture?
Or with the picture.
Well, when I said like there was
the percentages of all of them.
Yeah.
But it's still like there's different types of blood clots.
Okay.
So the one that AstraZeneca has is a quite severe type of blood clot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the AstraZeneca or the blood clots in the other, I don't know the other ones, but like maybe the birth control one isn't as like a severe one.
Yeah.
Compared to like there's different.
Yeah, no, I get
variations of blood clot.
It's funny actually. My mom, like being a nurse herself, she's like, it's your right to refuse AstraZeneca. Stick to like Moderna and Pfizer. Like, okay, whatever. And she's like, yeah, we've had patients come in. I'm like, oh, damn, really? Eh?
Well, I mean, even our like recently our I forgot what the board is called, vaccine board or something.
Okay, sure.
That said preferred. They put Moderna and Pfizer.
Oh, okay, cool.
As a preferred for their people.
So why they even give out AstraZeneca?
Oh, they have to.
It's
nothing. It's still very, very low. It's still, again, it's
right.
like you saw the numbers, right? It still says it there, right?
True.
It's like
it's funny though, because remember when the first ones came out, the Pfizer, Moderna. No, when Pfizer first came out, it was like 96%, and I'm like, yeah, but there's 4% chance. I'm waiting for 100% one, and then like Moderna came out, it was like 95%. I'm like, okay, well, I'd probably pick the Pfizer over the Moderna because it's got the 1% difference. And then they came out with AstraZeneca, which is 60%. I'm like, okay, looks like nobody's gonna get 100%. We're just gonna go with like it's weird how like relative perspective. You know what I mean? Like when you first hear this one's 96%, you're like, meh, I want 100.
Yeah.
And then when you're like your other options are like 70, 60, or 96, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go with 96.
But once again, that is based on the original variation of the coronavirus.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's what they're, I guess we're all thinking about. Like,
I
don't really know enough about the variants to like.
No, what I'm saying is like with the variants, then it comes into play, like which one, but the percentage doesn't really matter.
Like, but what do you mean? Like AstraZeneca is suddenly going to become 95%?
It could be better at dealing with variants versus an mRNA.
Yeah, but by how much percentage?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying stuff. But I'm just saying, like, because the way that it's done, it's a bit different. Like, do we have to continuously take
booster shots for
Pfizer? Do we need to do that for AstraZeneca or not? Right? Like,
yeah, but it's still, it
comes down
unknown,
to.
But like, we're
again, and of course, right now it's unknown. But I'm saying, do these different ways of making it
affect?
Does that affect in the long term?
But isn't like the mRNA again? Well, we're not doctors though.
No.
We're just like armchairing this one so hard. So isn't the mRNA? It's like faster for production or something like that, right? That's why
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. I think it was either Tara or my sister, probably Tara, who told me that it's just faster. Like the tech was there
to build
it,
right.
I mean, to make it. That's why it came out so quickly within 1 year. You know. Mm-hmm. But I guess technically, like the AstraZeneca one came out within the 1 year. Do you see the nasal spray?
Yeah, I've seen that for a long time. Even AstraZeneca was the first one to talk about.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I saw.
For AstraZeneca nasal. Now then, I heard about pills.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it was in that post I sent. Yeah.
No, I heard about it before your post.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it's like
pills, weird.
Yeah, it's like weird pills, and then, but the nasal spray one I've heard of with AstraZeneca too.
But with those, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like my cousin was joking because like I put in my stories and he was like, I guess you don't need the numbing cream, and I'm like, yeah, but my shots on the 22nd, so I don't think this nasal spray is gonna come out.
Well, none of that stuff even approved yet, right?
So. Yeah, they're just talking about like
it's still way early. I mean, I don't know. Again, we all said it was way early for the vaccine, so
true. Yeah, for sure.
It's like it seems early.
Do you think it's going to go back to like normal? Like I've really not been paying attention to it, and you were saying like when that announcement came out, like there's no more in school learning. But
yeah, I think they're not talking about because I didn't know that there are still places where they can still send kids to.
Oh, so they're just closed? No, but okay, so this place that I work for, they were waiting to see if things would open up or they're going to close for the year because they're strictly in person, right? So they're talking about like waiting until the 20th when the thing gets lifted. But then with this news coming out, it's like, yeah, you got to close down now because there's no more in person.
But what were they talking about? The in-person schools, in-person classes. Yeah. So because they still had those.
Because there's like 4 schools. I mean, like 4 schools that like like alternative learning.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess they're shutting those down. Like but we all thought this like lockdown was going to end on the 20th, right? But apparently no.
Probably not.
Yeah. They might so you're saying like the numbers are still pretty high.
They're lower. Like we've reached a plateau part. Like we're not like going up anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right. There's a plateau part, but it's like I think the ICU may have reached its limit, like of
capacity of people they can admit.
No. Like they've reached that again, that plateau. Like it doesn't seem like they're getting extra.
Oh,
like a huge increase in numbers of people, so that they can handle what's coming, who are coming in and who are going out. Right. I guess.
Did they speak anything about like opening up Toronto again?
No, there's no speak about that yet. I think the focus is just vaccines. To get all of this stuff done as quick as possible.
But what about the like the essential purchases thing? I'm wondering when they can open up those other sections.
Oh, in the stores?
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I was looking for the ice cream scooper yesterday.
Yeah.
And I went to Walmart a couple days before and I saw that because I was like, I'm already at Walmart. Let me just pick this up. And I saw that section was closed. So I'm like, damn, where am I going to be able to find this ice cream scooper? And I was like, probably Metro because they don't have any other, everything's for sale in a grocery store, right? And I luckily found an ice cream scooper.
Yeah, they would have it there. Yeah.
But it's like, it's weird now. You have to like figure out the hack of where you're going to go. You know what I mean? Because like you just can't buy clothes. You can't buy like DVDs and so, well, you can online and stuff, but like that's such a hassle. Like, even even though you're buying stuff online, it's still like even like Amazon facilities are, if they have a certain amount of people who have corona, they have to shut down. Oh yeah.
So
I heard about that.
That's more like happening now.
Yeah,
like
some Amazon facilities been shutting down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you see that Amazon Day thing is done?
Amazon Prime Day?
Yeah.
I think they pushed it.
Yeah, I pushed it because like the COVID.
Yeah. For Canada. Yeah.
No, also in India as well. I saw it recently.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, probably.
But of course, India, bro.
Yeah. I don't think.
How are they doing? Pretty good, or
no, they're still pretty bad.
Really? Yeah. It's too bad. It seems like America's like from like I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast a lot, and like what he was saying before and what he's saying now, it's like, it sounds like they're on the up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
Well, yeah, I mean their vaccine rollout has been really good.
But isn't it so funny? Like prior to this, we were like, oh my God, they're doing terribly. They're just not controlling this virus at all. And then like,
well, also probably because they probably hit, they probably haven't hit the herd immunity yet, but it's like a lot of people have had it where it's kind of causing it to be
true.
Like then you've got like a portion of people who got it recovered, and there's a portion of people who are getting vaccinated too. So it's like that's creating the herd immunity. Oh, so percentage.
You're coming at two ends.
Yeah. So you had
True. Yeah, for sure. The documentary you watch with all those people like dying in the ICU units. That's so bad though. Yeah. What about like we were saying? Like, what about the people that just didn't even go in and they just died?
Yeah, exactly.
Homes,
Yeah. I mean, like we're seeing all the funeral pyres in India, all right, but that was happening like they're not burning bodies in America, but like in New York, you saw like truckloads of in those frozen tankers or whatever.
Yeah, it
really with the bodies,
me of Contagion, right? Where you like take the body away from. But I mean, that was like in the movie, but they took the body away from the town and they like buried them like far because like you don't want that virus.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, if you look at it, like that was Iran was like that. They had dug out huge pits where they were burying people. Yeah. Yeah,
my cousin was saying like Jerusalem or Israel. Israel? Yeah, it's like totally.
So they're the first ones who were way ahead of the curve in their vaccinations, right? So
and everything's good to go now. They're like everyone's out. Yeah, they're chilling. I'd like to visit that place one day. That place sounds really cool. Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. It's like
maybe. I just my thinking always is probably a cool place, but I don't know if I'm gonna like the food.
Oh, okay. True. Power bars, bro. You gotta bring out one backpack of power bars.
Yeah, but it's like the enjoyment kind of goes away when also I'm not enjoying food. If I don't feel well, then it's like,
yeah.
I don't really enjoy the experience.
So in relation to COVID, my belief in the UBI system, I finished reading the Andrew Yang book, and actually you illuminated me a couple days ago when we were discussing it, and I agree with you. Actually, it's not, because you're like, oh, it's gonna be so long before UBI comes, and I'm like, no, I think it's gonna come with this the COVID thing, because we already have CRB here, and I'm like, it's basically UBI is basically CRB, and you're like, yeah, but it's only for some people. And I'm like, yeah, why would they give UBI to everyone? You're like, yeah, but universal means everyone, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually a harder sell to give every single person, and it makes no sense. Like, why would you give somebody who's making like $400,000 a year $1,000 extra per month? I really think so. I don't like the survival benefit, but you're like, that's not. So what was that? Let me look at the word that we used. We coined it as the support benefit.
Yeah, I think I heard Biden was speaking about like the economy just the other day. I think he used relief benefit or something like, I forgot the term he used, but it was
Andrew Yang calls it a freedom dividend.
Okay. Yeah. So, I've heard him use that a lot, but in the debates.
I think it should be like, I think the most logical one isn't UBI. After our discussion, I agree with you now. I'm switching it, not UBI anymore. I think it's like the support benefit. Like if you're within a specific income range, then they'll support you up to a specific amount. So it's like how we're all getting $2,000 if you have no job right now, right? So $2,000 per month is $24K a year. So I think if you make less than $24K, I think it would be some sort of like top up system to give you at least that amount of money. Because $2,000 per month isn't a lot, but it's enough to survive. You know what I mean? And like, I think that makes more sense to the future of humanity versus like giving everyone $1,000. You know? Yeah. And it's easier to sell because you don't actually have to like generate so much. Like you don't have to generate for every single person. You just have to generate it for a specific income bracket. Yeah. Especially with COVID, like with everything shutting down, you have so many people out of work, you know, how are you going to bring business back? Yeah. That's a big question mark on the future. I mean, like, I know it's like solve one problem at a time, but we basically have the vaccine thing like underway. So what's the next problem? You know, it's like,
that's the thing. Like we'll have to see when that happens, right? Like we hope it'll come back, but like, can it come back?
Yeah. Even like, so like, even if everyone gets the vaccine, it's like, all right, everyone go back to work. But it's like, but my work closed down like for good. Literally the restaurant is gone now, you know, or like with what I was saying, like the outdoor activity, it's like gone now. So it's like, what are you going to do to stimulate the economy so that people can become entrepreneurs again? That's a big question. You know?
Yeah. I think I guess you can keep an eye on how Israel is doing, and like
but they're still kind of different.
No, I know. I'm saying like these are the first, like Israel, UK, and America. Like these are like where they will probably get back to normal faster than us.
Oh, okay, true. And see how they do it.
And seeing like this is where we're learning from.
But technically, like no other country is doing the $2,000 a month. What other country?
That's also true too.
Right. I think we were literally the only country that did $2,000 a month.
I don't want to say the only country, but yes.
But I don't know any other country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't get news of other countries, right? I don't know what the UK did. I don't know what other countries did. Like maybe in Europe. Like I know America didn't do that, but they did like one check or two checks for everybody, right? So that's what they did.
Well, in developing countries, they're not doing that.
No.
So we can rule those out. Yeah, I guess in like
they don't have they don't have the budget to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that. I guess was that a good thing, and it might be a good thing. Like we'll learn about this in the
true
in the coming.
I think Canada's pretty progressive in that way. If you really look at the things that Trudeau's like accomplished. Like I always go back to it, but like he got us like free money and weed, you know. Dude, that's pretty crazy. Like if you really think about it, that's a big step. True, you know.
Yeah. They did set up what do they call even for the EV vehicles? Okay, a rebate for that.
Yeah, so there you go. Boom.
Yeah, because we had a provincial one they had, or they removed it right when the Ford government got in. They took it out.
Yeah.
So then I was waiting for something.
Right,
so then Trudeau did something. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool guy. I'm wondering with the UBI, like when Andrew Yang was discussing it in his book, he was saying that a lot of jobs that we didn't think about would be like under attack, and he was bringing up like accountants and lawyers, and like I know we have like the TurboTax, that's what it's called. It just came to me. It's called TurboTax, and then you could do it all online yourself. You don't need to hire an accountant. So like that sort of automation is like gonna go away for accountants. So it's like we always think about UBI in terms of like blue collar, white collar jobs, or like creative, non-creative jobs, but he's like, no, it's really about like repetitive jobs that are in danger, either like repetitive or non-repetitive, you know. And you were saying that you don't see that kind of thing shifting in like 50 years until 50 years.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's a huge thing, right? There's so many fields of work, and sometimes technology creates other fields of work that we didn't think about, right? So,
that's an important point.
It's like when the first time when like we use it all the time, the bank machines.
Oh yeah.
But the point of the bank machines, everybody thought like, all tellers are going to be gone.
Yeah, no, but tellers started taking on harder things.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So
they do more.
Exactly. So they did other things that are not necessarily rudimentary stuff.
Okay, wait, I got one for you. What about like self checkouts?
Yeah.
Look off. No, I'm saying they laid people off.
Yeah.
For that.
No, I'm just look at the Amazon. I don't know if you heard of the Amazon's grocery store.
Oh yeah, when you walk in.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
Out. No, but that's not fully implemented yet, right? Like
no. But in that wherever they have those, it is like it's fully implemented in the sense like you just walk in, take what you need, and you walk out.
But like, so who are they employing?
Nobody.
That's what I mean. So it's like, where did those people go?
Yeah, exactly. No, I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, again, it does happen, but there's still like there's a lot of times it doesn't really work also, right? So like, but it does, again, we can't know what new jobs it does create or what happens, right?
What you're saying is you think that humans are resilient enough to find another job.
I think it does seem to be like that, but I don't know with I mean, that is what with current types of technology, I guess it can work around.
Yeah.
But when you get AI in it, I think it does affect a huge amount of things.
Totally. So on the podcast, they were saying that on the Dax Shepard podcast, the Armchair Expert, where Andrew Yang was on, I listened to that one, and he brought up like, this isn't the first time that they thought people were going to be out of a job. And Andrew Yang said, yeah, but it's different this time because it's not like a non-thinking machine's going to do something for you. It's like, it's a literally thinking machine that can take on way more complex tasks than a human can.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is to get that level of AI, I think is going to be 50 years.
Or another example is, remember that documentary we saw, what was it called, where they're in the factory?
Yeah, American Factory. I don't remember.
I think this was called American Factory, and like they had like, remember at the very end
there was a Chinese investor that came in to produce like glasses for cars, right?
Yep.
So
and they were saying
in America,
like they're showing in the beginning it was like a Chinese versus American thing because the Chinese would work way harder than the Americans. So like they would bring them over on the visas and then they would work there. Yeah. And then like when they went to China, they're like, oh, these people are working really, really hard. But then at the very end, it was like one robot can do the job of 5 people.
Yeah. Like there was a line they said right at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, these 4 people that are here were a new like robot is coming in that we don't need for workers.
Exactly. and they don't need breaks. They don't need pension. Yeah. They don't need benefits. So it's like, I really think that like labor jobs like that are going to be gone like relatively quick. I don't think even in 50 years, I think it's like, it's already happening, you know, and then you see in like business, like actual business organizations, instead of like hiring an entire like internal marketing team, they're just like, okay, we'll get this one person in India to like do it for us.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go back to them when we have more requests.
Well, that's kind of what happened to the
like I've seen this personally, you know.
Yeah, no, so that's what's happened to Middle America. A lot of those jobs went to China.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
Right? So that's different than because it's still using labor.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. But that's what's happening. That's a different solution that I agree with Andrew Yang on, right? Because that's what he was trying to talk about, really.
So he's saying that all of this will change in like between 2020 and 2030. We'll start to see like a huge shift towards automation, and like this book was written before COVID. But I think with COVID, it's like it's really making things more. Because think about this. So with COVID, less people are buying your products, like restaurants or something, right? And then you're paying still the same amount of rental space, the same amount of like your workers. Like I almost foresee.
Well, you do have a reduction in staff.
Yeah, a reduction of staff, but also a reduction of space. I feel like there's this place that we go to, Athens on Danforth. Shout out Athens, you guys are awesome. They have like a internal dining area, but because of COVID, it's like, why couldn't they just like get rid of that? You pay less for your rent and just make it like an entry bar. And you just like a pickup, like almost like fast food. You know, I feel like that's where it's gonna go. I don't even know. Like, I feel like only big restaurants. There's gonna be like very few big restaurants now. You know.
Yeah.
There's a place over here called Vietnam's. And like I went in and I was like, I was expecting like a kind of a restaurant bar thing because it looked like a big spot. You walk in, it's just like a cash register. Like the rest of the place is just like a cooking area. That's almost like New York, actually.
Some of these already, we have some shops that are here kind of like that already, like
on
design. On Young, like that's designed just to be like a small, I guess it's like an Asia thing.
It is an Asian thing. Yeah. You know, totally, because like even in Hong Kong, it was like that.
Because they have a lot of people,
space.
But they have less space to work with, so they do it more efficiently.
And they have like, if you're going to eat, it's just like a corner bar counter thing. It's like eat and go, you know.
Or there's like a park nearby or something like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I think maybe that's like, it might just move in that manner. Because like with the amount of space you have, you can just have 2 restaurants running at the same time instead of like the one. But then again, if that happens, then what about servers? You know, what about like line cooks? What about, well, yes, you need more line cooks, but you wouldn't need as many like servers.
Yeah, you wouldn't need servers.
Or cashiers even. You need 1 cashier dude. Again, like more of a reason why we need like UBI, because what are those people gonna, like, they're expected to learn? Remember the whole learn to code thing? It was like when middle America was losing its jobs, they were like, the whole hashtag learn to code was coming out, because like they're like, yeah, just learn a new skill. It's like, yeah, you're gonna ask a 50-year-old dude who doesn't really know how to use a computer to learn how to code, like the best of the coders out there, you know. And what's he gonna do, like move to Silicon Valley? Like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see a utopia happening if there's UBI, because like you would just have, you'd only need to work if you wanted to get something, right?
Okay.
And then with all your free time, you just create art. Like you just have like a bunch of happy people just like filling their time with things that they like, you know. Like I started like cooking, right? But it takes so many hours, right? But like with UBI, you could just do that every day. That could just be your whole job, you know? Yeah.
And
a lot of inspiration. What are you saying? That's a thing he was saying in the book. It's like a lot of great ideas would come about with more free time, because people would like be more inclined to invent things.
Right.
You know? And then another thing he said too, and I was like, I totally agree with this. It's like, what good is automation if you're not benefiting from it? So if you're creating automation, but we're all still slaving away 9 to 5, it's like, so then what was the point of automation? You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, automation is, if you only think of it from a business perspective,
it's only good for business. Like you just get higher bottom line. Yeah. It seems like so slanted, like corporate stuff now. You know what I mean? Like everything seems so weighted in their favor. Like if you know how to play the game, like the tax game, and then like the
but
game.
But it's the big corporations that do have the highest amount of people that work for them too, right?
No, like do you mean like employment?
Yeah.
No, it's Canadian backbone is small business.
No, I know, but you do have a huge workforce that are working. Like if you would open up an Amazon, you're creating 3,000 jobs.
Totally. You're creating 3,000 jobs until you create automation, and then all those 3,000 people are like let out.
Well, that is what I'm saying, but we're not there yet.
I could see it, like especially with those like if you had a robot instead of a person going to get the package, you just have like, because you know what I mean, like you're in the warehouse, you have to go get the package, and then you just need like one human supervisor to check on all the robots who are like
even with Tesla's manufacturing, right?
Yeah.
So they went with more automation at first.
Okay.
But then they realized, wait, it doesn't always work.
No, totally. Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like there's like some parts where you actually need a human touch because they only humans can think a different way that a robot can't move in that way or something.
For sure. But compared to how many you would have if there was no robots. So you need like really specialized humans, you know what I mean? Which like competition's gonna be fierce. There's gonna be like very few positions. Yeah, like you still need a human, but you're still like out. You know, hundreds of jobs. Yeah, scary. I could see like. I feel like if there's no UBI, we're headed towards dystopia.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to take some time to even get there. I do think that UBI does make sense, but I just don't know if it makes sense yet.
Income support.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So, no, because I don't agree with the full UBI now. Like, why give? But I get why. Like, you were saying the monkey thing, right? It's like, why that guy get a grape and I only got like an onion or whatever? Because it's like, yeah, why would you? Like if the rich person was not getting the $1,000, he'd probably make a big stink about it. It's like, oh, my taxes are paying for your $1,000, blah blah blah. You know.
Well, where is the cutoff, right? That's what it's going to be asking. Like, person that's making 100,000, like not going to get it, or but no, is that per household, or like what is it? What are we?
I think it'd be like 24 per person. That makes sense to me. And if you have kids, then you can get more. Like basically what they're doing with CERB right now, I think is genius.
Yeah.
Like if you have a kid, you get an extra $500 for every kid. And like when it was Christmas time, they gave like an extra $200 per kid, so you can buy presents. I was like, wow, this is like great work, Canada. Yeah. Like we have like a lot of infighting with politicians, which is funny to me because at the same time it's like, but what about the benefits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's politics for you.
Yeah, I know, but it's weird to me. It's like, why can't you just? I don't know. Politics is so odd because it's like, why can't you all just work together as one? You know.
Everyone has different ideas.
I know, right? But it's like, damn, bro, we're all one person.
Well, but everyone has different ideas that they think would work better.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
This is just how it always has been like, right? Like, there's no one going to be always agreeing 100% to what you do, right? It's up to the people then to decide to vote you in or not.
Yeah.
So did the people prefer what Trudeau did? Did they really, like, you know what I mean? Like, does he win again?
True, yeah.
For what he's done now, right? Or does someone like Jagmeet win, or NDP leader, right?
What has he done?
Or the
I like his ideas. Like I like that he's allying himself with like AOC and like like those people, even though they're American, but like he's like allying himself with like the progressives, you know?
Yeah. Well, he's building the young crowd, right? That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, actually, he's like doing a lot of like reels.
Yeah.
But it's like, but what are you doing, really? You know? It to me, it's like you know, actions speak louder than words, and like Trudeau got us weed and free money. Like, what are you gonna do, Jagmeet? UBI?
Well, everyone has different perspective on it, right? So if you're like in Alberta and like the oil sands, it's like, well, we lost our jobs because of Trudeau.
Oh, true, yeah.
So
fact, yeah, you're right.
So there's things like that too. So.
Yeah, other people could be pissed. Yeah. I actually, which is interesting if you think about it, because like even when you're in the system, you have a hard time within the system making change.
Yeah.
Which was a great segue into our next topic, which is Barry. I read we watched the Barry movie, and I also read Dreams of My Father, and I look at Obama so different now. It tripped me out so hard. Like I was entranced with the movie because like I read the Michelle Obama book, and that was my first introduction to Obama, who is his character.
Yeah.
And like Michelle Obama is like your A type. Like, so basically she was like really poor, and she worked super hard to become super rich. She was like a super rich law firm person, and she had like memberships to like country clubs, wine clubs, all this stuff. And then Obama interned for her. That's how they met. Okay. So he was like her intern, and he was from Harvard, and she's like, this is the most brilliant person I've ever met as a lawyer, but he's taking all the crappy jobs for like no money. And then like, so that was in the book, and I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And then when I read Dreams of My Father, I was like, again, very interesting person, because like he in a lot of ways he reminded me of myself. Not in like the political sphere, but like cultural identity. So like growing up here, and I remember being the only Filipino in elementary school. Like they were like, what is a Filipino? It wasn't until Sid came in grade 6, up like from kindergarten to grade 6, I was the only Filipino person, me and my sister, in that school. And then like Sid came, and then it was like, oh, there's like Filipino people elsewhere, and like I guess it was like a giant migration. But like for him, it was also like he was half white, half black. He lived in Indonesia, he lived in Hawaii, so he had no idea who he was. And then like it wasn't until the end of the book, when he went back to Kenya, that he understood who he was. You know, he realized like, oh, I am this black person, and like this is my like black struggle, like all this stuff. And it's same thing, like when I went to the Philippines, and like I got the black belt in Arnis, I was like, oh, I feel Filipino now, because it's like I have something, some thing I can carry around. And I was like, oh, I'm black belt in Arnis. It's like, that's a Filipino thing, you know. But before then, it was like I was Filipino by word, you know. And then there's like a lot of Filipino posers too, right? That like know a couple of Filipino words, or they'll use like the Filipino accent. You're like, but you're not Filipino. Like, you're just like posing, you know. You're growing up here too. We're all first generation. So. And that's like Obama too. He was like first generation from like his dad, because his dad came from Kenya. So like it was interesting to see like his whole narrative of like, who am I, and then like what good can I do, because he was like inspired to be a good person. But that was so like, it's weird to see him as president, because like I really think that Michelle is what, and he attributes this to, but Michelle is what made him bring him back down to earth. Because like remember so like basically in Dreams of My Father, at the end of the book, it was like anti-white, like not anti-white, but like anti-colonialism. Like you read those two passages, it was just like, it was like the white man came. Right. So I was like, okay, you wrote this book before you were president, so this is what you're really thinking, you know. And he was talking about going to Chicago, and like he took this community leadership role, and like the guy was like, why are you taking this role? Like you're highly educated, I think from like Columbia or something. And then he's like, yeah, I want to do some change. But he's like, you know, this role only pays like $30,000 a year. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So like he'd work like 7 days a week, like for no money, well, basically no money, in order to like make this change. And then like when he met Michelle, he was like making fun of her for like not like being too white, because she was like from the ghettos of Chicago all the way, I think it was Chicago, all the way up to like the white country clubs. Like she became this high priced lawyer. Right. So it was interesting, like he knew his culture, and then he was bringing her back to her culture. But like if you listen to her podcast, you read her book, she's like very black mommy, you know, like I'm not gonna take that, like and I'm not gonna take that sass, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like the stereotypical whatever. But like I feel like Obama needed that. You know, it like cemented who he was in his mind. Because remember in Barry, he was dating the white girl, but he kept like feeling awkward about it. He's like, why am I dating this white girl? You know what I mean?
He's the only odd one. Like
it's the odd one, because it didn't fit, but I'm black, and like she doesn't really get the black struggle. But then like Michelle was like in both worlds. She was like, she escaped the poverty, and then he was making fun of her for like, why are you acting so white? And then she like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Fascinating character.
I like that line in the, well, it was right at the end though, like that the Barry? Line. Yeah, in Barry. Just because he was like, he's been to like, is it Indonesia?
Oh yeah.
It's like, and then his Kenya, and like all these things. It's like
Hawaii,
and it's like, well, that makes you American.
Yeah, that was cool. I felt like, so it's interesting because he could have easily become one of those salty people.
Yeah.
You know, but he had this like spark inside of him, and I feel like he didn't let that spark die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, so when I said like, what can you really do in the government, because there's a lot of bureaucracy, you kind of felt that during his presidency, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'd like want to do a bunch of things, but there's so much red tape, right? So like after reading that, watching the movie, you see like this arc of a person who's like, I want to do some good. He got up to the highest office. I want to become president. You actually can't do as much as you thought. So now I think we're about to see Obama really turn it on. He has a podcast with Bon Jovi, and like I think he's doing like more activism work, and I think like being outside of office is what's going to give him the freedom to like really do what he wanted as a kid.
I mean, I don't know, I didn't really notice him too much outside when he left, right?
But I think it's starting.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, he came up more when he was campaigning for Biden.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
that's when like his
like it hasn't come out yet, but I feel like that we're gonna see something big out of Obama in the future, because of that passion that you saw when he was a kid, him becoming president, him becoming jaded about being president, and then now he's like free. Like it's almost like if you look at like if this was a TV show and you're looking at the arc of a character, right? You see him like get inspired as a kid, he makes his dreams come true, he becomes a black president, and then like he realizes there's some hurdles, like there's some obstacles you can't actually like compete with.
Right.
But you still have the same dreams as a kid. So now you're famous, right? Now you're like the first black president. So you have a name. And I think he's going to use that name in the future. Like, is my prediction.
Yeah, he's still very popular.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, he just put out a book. I heard the book's boring. I haven't read it yet. And I also feel like anything past presidency, it's like, unless you're going to drop something real like Dreams of My Father again, I don't really want to read it. Because, like, in that book, it was, like, so honest, bro. He was, like, talking about freaking, he was talking about, like, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, and occasionally, if he could afford it, doing blow. And I was like, what? You put this in here, bro? And he's like, but I never did smack, which is, like, heroin.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's pretty honest, bro. Right? Like, so unless he comes out with something like that, then I'm not really inclined to read it.
Right.
But yeah, because like he's seen like the struggle of like, because he lived in Harlem, right? And then he went to the projects to like see what it's like, and like you understand the plight of like these people.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what it feels like first, because like I guess like when I first heard about like Obama campaigning and all these people like backing him, like will.i.am from Black Eyed Peas, I was kind of like, well, what has he done? I didn't really know anything about him, right? But like looking at all this stuff, I get it now, because they probably read that too, and they're like, oh, you're one of us. You know.
Yeah. How long was he in? He was a congressman too, right? First, before he was president. So.
A senator.
Oh, a senator, right?
Yeah, senator. Okay. I have no idea. Like, I didn't look into
like
that
when did his political sphere start? Like, it doesn't just jump into being president, right? He was in office.
True. I guess that was in his book, Hope, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't read that book though.
Okay.
Although it got pretty high, so I might pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, but
because that was during, I think that was released in his primaries, right? I think. Like,
I suppose the one I read is like him as a kid up until Chicago, where he's like a community organizer.
Right.
And then he goes to Kenya, and that's how the book ends. Like, he like understands who he is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess in that one they'll talk about like him becoming senator. But in the Michelle Obama book, he was also just a Harvard intern. Like, he graduated Harvard, and he was like an intern for her. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know the senator story. Like.
Yeah, like when he got into office. So he knows like how stuff works, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, fascinating. But I haven't seen any other president like that either, you know? Like with that kind of story. Like,
no, I mean, he's the first black president.
No, but other than being like a black president, I mean like nobody else had a really inspiring story like him. Like, I've never been enthralled by a president before. Like, like watching Barry reading that book, I'm like, oh, this guy's like a normal dude. Like you're a normal person, right? Whereas like the other presidents have come up somehow, and like I guess it's sort of like they have like white privilege, right? But he didn't have any of that privilege, so it's like interesting to see from that perspective of like you're not in the system, you feel like an outcast already because like you're not white.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know anyone else's story.
Bill Clinton, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, wasn't he considered like at the time? It was like he's like their black president, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because he's like the urban president, right? Yeah, they all like loved him, right?
Right.
But the only thing with that though is like there's a lot of controversy with the Clinton name. So like that's
so much.
No, even when he was a senator of Arkansas.
Oh, was there?
That's where they were bringing in the drugs from.
They
were like American made.
Yeah, that was when he was president, right?
No, he wasn't president yet. He was just the senator of Arkansas.
Bringing into Arkansas?
They were flying them in through Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Because like he went to jail, Barry Seal, and then they called the senator, which is
they called the senator.
Clinton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was during that time.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know enough of the president's backstory or other presidents' backstory to know anything other than like maybe Jimmy Carter was like a peanut farmer.
Oh, really?
Something
that's
like that.
Cool.
I don't know if that's true.
It's kind of random though. It'd be cool.
Well, that's why he was a very different type of president, but he was only in there one term, right? He's the first one to put solar panels on the White House, and then Nixon got in and took him out.
But you know what's gonna be interesting? Like right now we're in like our 30s, so we're pretty like sentient. Like we're aware of what's going on, like politically, commercially, like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
We're like aware of how the world works.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like the younger kids, like Wobb's kid, will be like 18 or something, and AOC's running for president, right? And then we'll be like, oh yeah, I remember, just like how Bernie Sanders, right?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, I remember when he marched, you know, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
like I remember how AOC did that stuff on Twitch and like tried to, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
and then but he'll only know AOC from that, like,
right.
He'll just be like, oh, this person's running for president, and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember everything she did.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like that. Now we're hitting that age where it's like our parents would have known what Bernie Sanders did if they were like paying attention.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we seem to be in whatever you're paying attention to, right? We're at least I am more into the politics world,
you are,
right?
Yeah,
so,
totally. But it's funny. It's like you see their character progression.
Yeah.
You know. But it's weird too, because it's like you never think about people's character progression. Like when you're a kid, especially, you like see your teacher.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh, they're my teacher.
Yeah.
But you don't realize like they went to school. They were also a kid.
Yeah.
They went through stuff in life.
Yeah.
That's almost like why I don't take. It's like hard to take anything seriously when you realize that, because you're like you just learned something. That's it. You know.
Yeah.
Or even like watching Tara become a doctor. It's weird because it's like, oh, people do this. You know what I mean? It's like, one day somebody's going to go into a clinic and they're going to be like, oh, help me with this. But like, I watched you become that. So it's like, you know what I mean? We have these timestamps of people in our minds.
Yeah.
But we don't see the full thing. And that's what gives us a weird hierarchical perspective. Yeah. Although you can take that under the negative way and be like, freaking, what do you know? And you're like, well, what do you know, bro? Like, what did you study?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah, humans are weird. Yeah, any final tech things you got?
Any tech things? I don't know. It's been they did some stuff on Mars, I guess.
Oh,
with the helicopter.
Did you look at the fungus?
Oh, right,
and
the other. Sorry?
The fungus on Mars, the mushrooms that they
found
on
I didn't
Mars?
Hear about that.
I don't think it's real, though.
I don't think that's
CNN
real.
said, like, don't jump to conclusions, and then the UFO guy was like, I hope this is real. Like, that there's mushrooms growing on Mars.
I don't know about that. But talking about Mars, like, it just remembered that the SN-15...
What's that?
That was that rocket they tested.
Okay.
It landed. Remember, it was like... This is the 15th version of it.
What are you talking about? SpaceX?
You put up the video. Yeah, SpaceX.
Yeah, but that's not Mars. That wasn't on Mars.
No. Talking about Mars. That is going to Mars, right? It is
got it.
Setting up. Like the first step here is we finally got it landing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then the next test, whatever they have to do.
So we're heading to Mars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so weird though. Like watching that movie, the TV show Away. Not Away from the Netflix on for France. Like, yeah, I watched Away. No, Away, bro. They were there like the first manned mission to Mars. Yeah, you don't know what'll happen. Like as they get there, they probably will die.
I think Elon said it before.
He did say that. He's like, a lot of people will die. Yeah, but like,
but this is part of the. I mean, that was part of the moon progress, right?
Yeah,
so it's part of this progress.
His thing was good though. His analogy, he was like, it's sort of like the British ads that they put out when they were looking for the new world. It's like, if you like being cold, hungry, with a high probability of death, this is the job for you. It's like, yeah, that's Mars, because we don't know if we can get you back, and like it's basically a death sentence with the potential of living.
Potential. Yeah.
Potential death sentence. Yeah.
But that was with any mission, even going to the moon.
No, but this is different though, because it's like,
well, no. I would say it's the same thing. It's like, we don't know if you're going to come back. Like, it's still a potential death sentence, right?
True. Fair. Yeah. But like within the show Away, like how his skin was coming off and the other dude was blind. It's like, yeah, you don't know what long-term gravity will do to your body.
I guess, but aren't they doing those tests already? Those people that stay up there?
No, but it's like you're on Mars. So it's like the gravity will be a specific, like that's 0G, right?
No, but they weren't on Mars when that was happening, right?
No, they weren't. Yeah, they were in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were doing like people staying in the Space Center, like.
Oh, for prolonged periods of time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seeing what happens to the body.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't.
Like
I think it was like I don't know if it
stuff,
was
bro.
a Russian one. I'm not sure. Like, or an American one. Like, there was an astronaut up there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Longer than they've ever done before, I guess. I have to look it up what it is exactly, but
yeah,
they were doing those tests to see what happens to the body.
So do you think we'll become like the aliens, the Greys? We'll slowly lose our muscle mass and our brains will get big and like we'll get small.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that evolutionary does it change that quick like that?
Yeah, right.
Like
could see it. Or like over time.
Or like, how would fetal development happen? Would there be something different in space?
Oh, dude, they should test that. They should like. Oh, but that's not even. That seems like human rights issues, you know.
Again.
Wait, hold on. Speaking of human rights, and this connects. So AI and human rights. So we won't know if a computer is conscious. AI.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can never know. Just like I can never know if you're actually conscious. I can assume you're conscious because of like my experience. I'm assuming you're having the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you're speaking about your experience, it sounds like the way I'm speaking about my experience. So if you're unable to tell if a computer's conscious, you'll have to assume it, right?
Yeah.
And if you assume it, then they get their own rights.
Mm-hmm.
There's AI rights.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Aren't there like AI
crazy.
rules, like
I don't know,
like these hidden laws kind of thing,
like
where
you
it's
can't,
like you can't
abuse the
AI? Or like no. I mean, like where you can't make a version of an AI where it can think for itself or something like that.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Or they could build laws like that so that
maybe
that doesn't happen. I don't know.
But I could see it in the future though if they.
Well, even if they have laws here, for instance, like there's laws here that you can't do certain science experiments, right? Like,
yeah.
But in China, it's not like that. They're gonna do it in China.
Right.
So it's like, you're competing with other countries here.
So you think that? Well, do you think that there'll be AI rights in the future?
Maybe.
But it's weird because like we just created ourselves, so it's like it makes no sense not to give them rights, you know?
Yeah, I mean that was the question of iRobot. That was the question of all these AI types of shows and movies. Is well, I'm alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's so freaky to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Humans, and I don't know. This future is fascinating to see what would happen.
Yeah, true. Look forward to it. Yeah, and by the time we get our next podcast, Vish will be halfway to fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Exciting. You excited?
I mean, it's just a shot. So.
No, but I mean excited because you're entering the new world. It's almost like we were having these passports. Well, technically we aren't going to have COVID passports, but it's like you want to enter the future. you're gonna need a shot.
You gotta go back to normal. That's what that is actually about.
I know, yeah. And it's like that's kind of like our hurdle. We're all getting vaccinated. I see no problem with it. I mean, that's why we signed up.
Yeah.
It makes like people who have problems with it, they confuse me. Because it's like I don't understand the argument.
This is the thing. It's the confirmation bias that they get from the internet searches. So.
Oh, true. Yeah. Oh, I was bringing that up actually. That one dude who like I had to block him. The I won't even say your handle. Giving you no shine. Just know that you got blocked. That guy was like he's like. So I said something because in the Obama book they were talking about how like AIDS and like all this stuff is easily cured, like dysentery is easily curable.
Yeah.
But it's killing off a lot of people in Africa.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's funny because like in the West you have a hard problem trying to give people a life-saving vaccine. And he's like, oh, obviously you haven't done your research. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he like listed off this like court case, right? And I was like, what? And I was like, did you read it? And he's like, bingo. And I'm like, all right, first, yeah, I'm sure you read it, bro. Because like you still have to decipher it. And two, when you look, the other point you made is like, yeah, it could say two things, but it's up to the judge to define which is right and wrong. So it's like even if
like just to clarify here, because something like Apple and Epic is going on right now in the courts, right? So like Epic lists what Apple's doing wrong. Apple lists what like we didn't do anything wrong, or like what Epic is doing wrong, or so you're.
So in every court
in
case,
those reports,
exactly
in those reports, you're just saying like, what's the issue? But doesn't mean that there's an actual issue. Right.
So this guy's just taking the side of the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
And then when he listed the court case, you Googled it and you're like, oh, this is like an anti-vax versus the government or something, the state.
Yeah, like the vaccine stuff.
It's basically like anti-vaxxers like trying to fight for.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest
freedoms.
Funded from the anti-vax side. I guess.
But the crazy part is it's geared towards youth. Right, it was like
I think it was talking about like kids.
Yeah, so it's like, so why is he pulling that court case up? It's like, yeah, it's a kids related issue. Like, there's so many things wrong with it, but it's like, yeah, you are looking for that confirmation bias of like, what's gonna feed into my, like, so there's a difference between like confirmation bias and looking at things objectively, and changing your understanding of the world with information. So it's like if I read something and it goes against my belief, I'm going to believe the thing that goes against my belief because I'm like, well, this is the evidence, right? But like somebody with confirmation bias will be like, he'll read that thing and he'll be like, well, who's this funded by? And you're like, oh, okay, bro, like it's a conspiracy by all book publishers and they just want you to like, all
exactly
right, bro,
exactly, yeah,
like,
it's like
the government owns book publishing and like what's that? The Rockefellers own like Penguin Publishing,
right?
You know, so there's like, well, the Rockefellers funded Penguin, so they're getting their messages. Like, all right, bro, you're just like trying to make any ties.
No, it just brings up the whole Trump thing with it was rigged or whatever, right? But it's like
rigged election.
Yeah, it's like,
and everyone being like, yeah, it's rigged. It's like, well, how?
Yeah, but like a lot of the judges who are like saying like it's not rigged, or the judges Trump picked. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it's like if you were picked by Trump, but you are going against Trump, so then what is the conspiracy there? It makes no sense.
Like you can bring up any allegation. It says what if it's up to the judge? What is truth here? What is lawful, unlawful? Totally, yeah. Like that's just how anything goes. If you're just gonna look at the allegations, it's like, well, I can bring up any allegation. Yeah.
You know, it's like freaking. Well, I don't want to say the O.J. Simpson one, but like it's like the O.J. Simpson one, you know, like you might believe he killed those people, but at the end of the day, he like was acquitted. So we got to go with that, you know. Unless you want to run him back, and then we're gonna bring him back to jail, like you know, like I don't know. It's weird. Humans are weird, and then the ones that think they're smarter than humans are even weirder because they're like I'm not saying I'm smarter than a human. I'm just saying I understand the folly of humans. Whereas this guy is like, he's like, I know what's really going on. And you're like, well, what do you do for a living, bro?
But that's the thing, right? I think people feel like they have some power when they feel that.
Yeah, you're saying
they know something that somebody else doesn't know.
Yeah, totally. It's like, totally. you see that with Eddie Bravo a lot, you know? He's like, well, did you watch this YouTube video? Bro, anybody could put up a YouTube video. It's like, did you study how like physics works?
But also, like, did you know how YouTube algorithm works?
It's totally true. Of course, yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right. You're right. It's like you can get into that like rabbit hole. It's like they're just gonna feed you more videos that are like your videos that you liked, because they want you to keep watching for the ads.
Yeah,
it's funny. And then they're like, dude, but there's like thousands of videos. Yeah, because that's what it's pushing towards you. If you start searching the other thing, they're gonna show you something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like people don't even look at the debunked. Like they don't even look at like the debunk.
Yeah. Right.
Remember a while was like Dr. Quantum, and I was like, that name sounds so fake already.
Like, so, why you would have that name?
I know, right? Like, bro, do you know anything about quantum physics? Like, no. And like, where did you hear your stuff about quantum physics? Dr. Quantum. Like, okay, I googled Dr. Quantum debunked, and then they're like, so many things came out. He's like, yeah, it's fake. I'm like, did you not try typing in like debunked?
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at both sides, and then like,
you'll
see. Yeah. Also, why would you have a name like?
I mean, that's what I did, right? You were posting up the stuff about Andrew Yang and UBI. It's like, let me see if there's anything against Andrew Yang and UBI. Yeah, sure. So that's when I came up where someone was talking about those things that I was telling you about. Where it's like, wait, it's like this. It's not. Totally, you know what I mean? It's like sure. AI doesn't seem like it's going to be there until maybe 50 years, like to be really fully implemented, right? So it's like, I mean, there's.
But then even us talking, it made me realize like I'm not actually for UBI. I'm for like support benefit, which is CRB. Like I think there should be like a minimum, like we called it the survival benefit, but you're like, oh, that sounds so negative. I'm like, yeah, true. But essentially it's just like, it's just there to help you survive. You know, I think that's what's important. I think people need a minimum threshold. But I don't think like UBI
which I agree with. Which makes a bit more sense.
Versus like UBI where everybody gets $1,000. Like,
I just don't like, it might be, I think UBI is potential to happen, but that's like still way in the future.
But like at that point,
like that idea.
At that point, like it still wouldn't be justified to give a millionaire $1,000.
Yeah, no. Again, I know, but again, it's like, how much is it? Like, is 60% of the workforce like not working? Like, to create UBI, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I think it may, if it happens, it's going to be still way down the line to get there. I think it's just too early to talk about UBI.
Okay, but I think a support benefit.
Yeah, which is a different thing itself. Which is what CERB is. Which is what
CERB is. Yeah, I actually think they're just gonna have that in perpetuity. Yeah, I can't see them taking that away. And if they do take that away, a lot of people are gonna be pissed, and a lot of people are gonna be straight up homeless. And you're gonna have like shanty towns just like in LA. You know, apparently like there's like fields of
they have a huge problem there.
Yeah, crazy. That's because what I hear. People lost their jobs, so they just live in like tent cities. I'd like to see it.
That happened in it was like in 2008, right? That happened too. It's kind of like remembering what happened then. It's the same thing.
Yeah, when the stock market crashed. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're playing with like it's hard. Like it's a very like when you get into finances, it's really hard with COVID because like so much uncertainty. Like even that school like I was working for, right? Like, and then they were like, because of this lockdown we can't go back to in person, so we're gonna wait till the 20th, and then like it sounds like we're not coming back, so they're gonna have to close. It's like, ooh, your job is so like up in the air.
We just gotta keep getting people vaccinated, and I think we've hit another record, so like of 100,000 in one day. So
that's cool.
Let's keep doing that.
Yeah, but I don't even like. What about what's gonna be really funny in the future if that dude who was against the vaccinations, he ends up getting it. Like, he's like, oh, on Travel's place, and they're like, yeah, well, you need to get vaccinated. He's like, all right, just give me the vaccine. It's like, now you're eating your words, bro. Like,
yeah.
Like what? Like
I mean, we do it all the time whenever we go to a certain country too, right?
That's why I'm like so confused. It's like when people are talking about the COVID passport and they're all freaking out, I'm like, if you are an international traveler, you have a vaccine passport already. It's not like it's not
true.
New. People are freaking out like, oh, dude, you're gonna implement COVID passports. It's like,
see,
no,
that's
I have to show I have this hepatitis shot before I get into this country.
Right.
Like literally, it's attached to my passport.
I think those are the people that don't actually travel.
It's Totally. You remember I said that in the group chat? I was like, they're like, yeah, I don't want to get it. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, if you don't intend to travel, if you don't intend to do anything, do it. Like, you don't need to get it.
Yeah.
But realize you're like stuck in that thing. But I guess like you're already stuck no matter what. Like those people that aren't going to travel anyways. So yeah, get all up in arms about a COVID passport. You're not even going to apply for your goddamn passport. So like where are you going to go? Like you've never been to Europe, you've never been to Asia. Like all of a sudden, oh no, this COVID passport's going to like ruin us all. It's like you weren't going to go anyways.
Right. Yeah.
And all of us real travelers are like, yeah, that's normal. Like when
like generally, I think before I even travel, I do the doctor's thing. I was like, what do I need anything for this country?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Remember when I was going, I thought I had to get the yellow fever shot, and they're like, oh yeah, you don't. If you're just going to this area, you don't need it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Like, are you going to a war zone? No. It's like there were specific shots for that.
Exactly. And it's like nobody gets up in arms about those. Like what? That's why I'm so confused. It's like, yeah. That's why also the dude that I had to block, I was just like, have you left? Actually, I just blocked 2 people about this COVID thing. I'm just like, I can't deal with you anymore. Yeah, it's like, but both of them seem like they just never left the hometown, bro. So it's like, okay, like your worldview is very small, so that's why you're fighting so hard for nothing. Yeah. They talked about this in the BJJ podcast I listened to. In BJJ competitions, they only win like $1,000. Right. So like you'll join these like ADCC competitions. Like these are the crazy competitions around the world, right? Like the people getting all those like medals for BJJ. Like the most you win is like $4,000, right? Okay. And he's like, people are fighting tooth and nail for that $4,000, and I'm like, yeah, probably because you haven't expanded your horizon. Like it's the exact same types of person, that's like, I've never traveled, but I'm gonna complain about a COVID passport. It's like, yeah, because you're like so small-minded. It's like,
yeah.
Like people will literally go on steroid cycles to win the $4,000. Like for what, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like they'll cheat in like different ways, and it's like, yeah,
that's weird.
For like nothing. It's not, if it was like $1 million, I'm like, all right, cool. It's like gonna change your life. $4,000, bro. Like, come on. But then you gotta look at the people that actually like are learning this and getting into this, all they got, and blah blah blah. Yeah. Some of those like the UFC fighters I listen to, like, this is the only way I can pay rent. I'm like, okay. Yeah. All right, I went off a tangent there. Yeah. I just got like really irritated, like just like silliness.
Yeah. True.
All right. So good luck on your shot, Vish.
Sure.
I will get mine in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll be done with COVID ASAP. Until next time. Take it easy.
Peace.
Oh, speaking of ASAP Rocky, monster movie. We'll probably talk about that next week. I hear it's really good. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I hear it's really good. All right, take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.